I'm going to speak about the development workflow of Git or GitHub or any similar program, similar client. So we are using a specific workflow in a Joomla. That is what I'm going to explain, that how we are working, how the Joomla CMS is working, and how it is good for your software as well. So namaste, welcome. It's a hello in a Hindi. I am Gunjan Patel. I'm working at Recomponent with the Vikings. Not working. Okay. Hello. Yeah. 7 years of experience in a web, especially in Joomla. Working in Joomla since 2009. I am a Bug Squad member. Just like yesterday, we did a Bug Squad sessions, and usually in my free time, I contribute to Joomla. I'm a SQL optimization team member, team coordinator. So if you are good in a SQL and all that, meet me after session. I'm also running a JUG, Joomla User Group, Ahmedabad, and do the workshop locally and encourage students and a new community member locally and spreading the Joomla to the world. Joomlers. I am Joomler. Do you know what is a common thing here in a Joomla? And it shows the community. See the smile on the faces of everyone is smiling, enjoying. It's not just a boring conference. It's about to meet your friends and talk about the technology, your community, your culture. It's fun. This was pretty hard for me. That was my first Lego. And as usual, I don't know what I'm building, but just there was a hammer of Thor in my mind. So it's a hammer of Thor, and then I see the screen. Then you have to explain that what you have built, and you need to relate it Joomla. So yeah, Joomla community is as stronger as the Thors Hammer. No one can build up, but still, it's a strong. This is my vision, actually not only mine, the whole team vision about the G community. There are the most key things is this. It's based on strong platform and slowly growing up, and it's built on a transparent base. So there is a transparency. You can see the transparent blocks in down there, so that shows the transparency. We are helping each other, and we will be in the top after 10 years. So that's just a future vision about the J community. I say it's my J community. Okay. Git. I'm going to tell about Git. Most of the people know Git, what is Git, and all the things. But really, why Git? Why? Does anybody know why? Sometimes you use things like that. I am using it, but why? Why should I? It's simple. The main reason is simple. I would say that if you are interacting with files, any kind of file, it's not like about that you are a PHP developer or a Java developer or whatever, what kind of developer, it doesn't matter. You are a designer or whatever. You are dealing with files, then you must use Git because it's simple, it's fast, it's actually saves time, and especially you don't need to take a backup. I used to say that in my work, in my company, just grab my PC and give me any other PC. I will immediately start working because I am using a Sublime Text, so it's easy to download as well. And my all code is online on Git, so I don't afraid of taking backup and losing my code and all that. Everything I do is on Git. I start with Git, end with Git. Git is involved in my whole code. So it works. The most benefit is it works offline. If imagine you are using FTP and you want to debug something, it is pain. You need to upload a file on server, need to check that it works, not works. But instead of that, if you have a code in local, then you don't really need to worry about that. Just debug it in a local, push your code, and see the final. I used to do the automation with the Git, so I don't even need to connect with the FTP. I don't use any FTP client regularly. Sometimes if in rare case if needed. So I just push the code to the Git, and it automatically transfer to the site FTP site files easily, automatically. I just need to push the code to my main repository, and it automatically transfer, and you just need to refresh your page, and that's it. It's the main thing. Reverts. In FTP you can't do easy reverts. You can, but if you close your ID, it will be pain. You will hard. It will be hard to find that what did you change and all that. But with Git, it's easy revert. Just using a single commands or in an editor, it will be easy. Just revert your code back and fix your sets. That. And the branching with the Git, there is a very strong feature is a branching. Branch your code you put your different bugs in a different branch, so you don't really need to worry about that you will mash up the main repository and all that. So branching is the key. I'm going to explain how the branches work later, and it's great for team. Okay, so what is the development workflow? Most of the people using Git and GitHub and all the other Git clients, maybe SVN as well, but SVN is a mate for me at least. I'm using Git since many years. But I usually notice that nobody using a proper workflow. With Git, if you are not using proper workflow, then it will be like you will not able to get benefit. Usually, what I see that people will do their clone and take the changes, and when they got stuck, they will just remove the folder of the Git repository and then clone again. That's really bad. So I'm going to explain what is the Git workflow and what is the Git workflow which we are using at Joomla and other software. Yes.
I don't know if this is relevant. It may not be, but I'm not sure if you're going to cover this. But one of the things that kind of made Git easy for me to understand was when I learned that when you have checkout, when you clone a repository, you actually get the full history. Which is the reason why it can work offline, whereas with Subversion, with Bazaar, you don't get everything. And which is the reason why branching is so much quicker and it can work offline.
That's why it's fast compared to SVN. Yeah, thank you. So the workflow is I'm going to explain. We are using at Joomla as well, and we are using at Read Component and other software. It is based so far, at least I noticed that. So let's start with the main repository. It is usually called a remote repository, and I'm taking the Joomla as an example. We have a Joomla and Joomla CMS. Joomla is a name of organization, and Joomla CMS is the repository on a GitHub. So Joomla CMS, we are going to take the just imagine that we are going to fix a bug on Joomla, or we are going to introduce a feature. So it will be easy to memorize and understand. You need to fork it. Fork means nothing. It's just another way of saying clone. Git clients like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, they use the word fork. Using when you do a fork, you are actually cloning the repository on your own account. Like say Joomla is an organization and Joomla is a CMS. Joomla CMS is a repository. You are forking it to your own. So now let's say it will be called like your name / Joomla CMS. So it will be yours. Now you can change anything in your fork, and you can suggest the changes to the main repository. If you don't want to suggest the changes, I mean you don't want to send a pull request, it is fine. You can use your own fork version. Okay. Now so that's the fork. And after fork, you will notice that this is changed from Joomla fork. I have forked the repository, and now it becomes mine. So it shows the Gunjan Patel / Joomla.cms. So fork is just the another way of to say clone. It's just a clone, but the name is different. So now you need to clone your own repository, not the remote one. Like, because you are going to work with the repository which you have forked. It means that you have forked from Joomla, your repository. Now clone it in your local machine to actually start working on it. You are going to start working on your own repository. That's why I clone it to the local repository, and which will be usually in your local machine. I use Linux, so that's a Linux typical path, and I store in a www git repository just to get easily find out, to get organized. But it also works in Windows, so nothing to worry about that. That's just an example of the local path. It means it is cloned in local. Now it is ready to work in locally. So now your repository is offline. You don't really need to care about the internet. You can work without the internet. If you have slow internet sometimes, then really don't need to care. Just you have cloned it. Now all the code is in your local machine, and now you can start browsing with it and modify it. Now, right now, the local repository was not connected with the remote repository. It means what? We have to say that this is the fork of this repository. Let me get back to again so you can get me easily, because it is a bit confusing to understand. First of all, there was the main repository, which was the remote, which was the main repository. For example, it was Joomla. I fork it to the mine, so it becomes a my repository, and then I clone it in my local machine. Now my local repository is connected with me, which is typically called origin. When you are using a Git, so Git will automatically name it to the origin because you have cloned from them. So that's the origin of your local repository. So it's origin. Now what you will need to do, that your local repository, you will need to connect with the remote repository just to grab the pools, just to grab the new codes. So what we are going to do, we are pulling the new codes from the remote repository. We will change it locally, and we will push it to the origin. So it will complete the whole circle, and it will work in that order. In between, we will create a branch locally. We will push commit, and I'm going to show that how exactly that's going to work. But this is the core thing: that forget, clone it, connect your local repository with the remote. This is the most crucial thing. And it typically called upstream. You can use any name there, but typically, if you want to find this help in Google, and if you write upstream that I'm having problem with the upstream, then it will give you the right document, because usually in a Git terms it's called upstream. Okay. Now you are expected to fetch changes from remote. Why you are expected to do that? Because your local repository might be outdated, and that's the thing which he tell, that with the SVN you get all the history. Now in a Git it's not like that. With Git it's okay. You just clone that. You have a code. Now when you are doing a fetch command, so it's git fetch upstream. It means git fetch the records from the upstream, that what do you really have new in your repository. Like somebody push the records, push the files, or push the changes in the main repository. Now we are going to fetch them. This is only a fetch. We are not going to merge, or we are not going to use it right now. We have just fetched it, so it will be there. It will be there silently. You are not actually merging. You will not see the changes in your local machine, but it will be only fetched there, and we can use it. We can use it with our local repository by merging and all that, which I'm going to explain next. That's the branching workflow. Okay. So now you need to create a branch in your local machine. First we have fetched the changes. So now we are sure that there is something new, or it doesn't matter there is new or not, but it is at least updated, and now we know that we have fetched the changes, and now it is updated there. So we are going to make a branch to start working, to actually start working. Why branch? Let me explain just ignore the commands there. I'm going to explain the commands later in a deep. Just concentrate on a flow there, how exactly it will be, because that will be easier to understand the flow and all that. So the first of all, I explained that the forking flow, what is fork and why should we fork, and now branching. Why branching is important? Because it differentiates your code. You can organize your code in your branches. Let's say that I have worked on a feature on one day, and on the other day there was an immediate bug that was a quick fix. I need to fix it out. So what happens with us, if we are not using branching, then we have to push that code temporarily, which is just a temporary, and that will be mashed there, and it will be hard to fix that quick bug. So if you want to fix that super urgent bug quickly, then just test your changes or just push it in the other branch, which you call the feature branch, and make a new branch from the origin. From the remote. There should be a main branch there, to make a sub branch of that to fix the bug, and make changes, push to the origin, send to the pull request. So still your feature is in your hand. You didn't push your feature to the public, to the main repository, and you are still working on it. So your working copy is still there, but just hidden. You just need to check out your branch again after fixing this super urgent bug, and you can start easily work on it. So what's the model which we should use? So the main thing I said that you need to create a branch, and I mentioned here the issue ID. Usually what we do in Joomla and most of the software, we are using a software management tool, and in that we always say that whatever you have issue, just report it. So it is easy to become to push the branch, to push the code specific to that issue, and easy to identify in the future from the history, and your whole code will be organized in a branch. So that's why we are creating branch. This is the most useful model for branching, and to keep the stable code in a one specific branch, and to use the develop code and develop code for the development, so you can apply the hotfixes. Let me explain it in deep. See there, if not sure if you can see master there on the top of, there is a master. Master is just the name of branch. On the top, there is a name of all the branches. The columns are showing the flow of that branch. So I start with the master branch. In a Joomla, we call the develop to the staging branch, because you are using a slightly different flow, but the core is this. It's similar to this. So it's a master branch. We have created a new branch, which we call it develop. Let's say the master branch was the 0.1 version of your software. Now we have created a new branch, which is called a develop. It means we have started a development of the 0.1 version and started fixing bug or started adding a feature. So now we have a separate branch with the yellow dots, where we can push codes, unstable, not unstable, but a developed code there, and other can make the feature branch and create that. The main benefit of this is the hotfix. I'm on a 0.1 version. I suddenly realized that, oh, this version has a security fixes, which is identified later. But I'm not ready to push the developed code and release it. Because what happens? You have already started working, but the security patch is really urgent. It needs to be released as soon as possible. So here is the benefit of this model, that we have created. So now we can create another branch from the master branch and fix that particular code which was related to the security issue, and now we can merge it here. So what happened? This is working separately, that works separately, that works separately. We have fixed security issue or some urgent issue separately by creating a new sub branch and merging to this main branch, as well as merging in this branch. So the same commit will be in a master branch and in a develop branch. So what happened next? We have released 0.2 version, but still this is updated, and we have still saved our development copy in a different branch, just to avoid the conflicts and just to avoid pushing or delivering the developed code, under development code to the public, right? So now when the next, when we will release, we will check it to the 1.0 or something, or we can directly merge here. So we can release the another version which will already have this hotfixes. Why? Because we have forked, we have created a sub branch, and we merge on a both. We have also merged that branch into the master branch and as well as a develop branch. So now people has a security fix, and the tested, let's say this is the beta versions, and in between if there is a hotfixes, and just create the branch of the master. It works like that. So you can keep your development code in a different branch. That's the main benefit. That's the benefit of the branching. That's why we do that's why I do branching, and it helps to organize your code in a branch, and helps you to release a more stable version. Because it was a pain with SVN, or not without SVN, that it was really hard to identify before. What happened before that? Let's say we need to release. We say that we need to release in the morning, and then we were spending the whole day in gathering the package and testing and all that. But now the thing is easier with the Git. That you just need to apply a fing or gulp commands. It packs up your release copy, and it automatically tests it. So now we can deliver a more stable release using this kind of branching models. So we can keep the hotfixes easier. We can keep the development copy easier. Okay. Okay. Now. So that was the branching related steps, and we are actually creating a branch with the issue number, so it becomes easier to identify that for which issue this branch is. Now we have worked locally, we have completed, we have developed it, and now we are adding commits. Adding commits to the origin, and still you can do the many commits without pushing it, and push it after your complete fix. I would recommend that you should use the minimum, like a specific commit message, and use a specific codes in specific commits. Because what happens if it easy to review for the reviewers. Let's say that you have fixed some bugs, and also you have also cleaned the code. Okay, so you did the two things, but if you will push the both things in a one commit, then it will be hard for maintainers and hard for reviewers to review your code, that which one is the actual fix along with your code cleaning. So I would suggest to keep the code cleaning in a different commit, and let's say it's okay, it's a code style improvement, it contains the code cleaning steps. So you can just check it by with your just check it directly. You don't need to test it. But in another commit, I actually fix the bug in this commit. So take this commit as at that level and check it. So it becomes easier for reviewer, because when you push something on a main repository, like if you are contributing to Joomla, and you are uploading your changes and you're sending pull requests, the CMS maintainers will review it, or even bug squad member or any publicly. So it will be easier to identify your code, that which is the actual fix. Because usually what happens when Joomla developers try to find in Google that what was the fix for so and so issue. So it will help them to identify that where exactly on which line you fix the code, and it will be easy to apply a patch as well. In the end, you need to push your changes to the origin. Because you are actually fixing the code in your own branch and on your own repository, now you will need to send the pull request, to the remote. By sending pull request, you are actually saying that this remote, I did a changes in the origin. I have some changes in my new branch. Please review it and merge it. By sending a pull request, you are not actually pushing that code there, but you are in the middle of the reviewer will get chance to review this code. They will review it and say this, okay, this line has some typo, there is a bit typing mistake, or you didn't follow the coding standard that this line, kindly fix it. So there will be a chance to review your code, and it becomes easier to make a stable code. Okay, I'm fan of commands. I don't use the ID because it's not transparent for that. If you want to learn Git easily and more openly, like transparently, then I recommend the commands, because you know what happens with commands. Using a terminal on a Linux, or using a web Windows client, GitHub CLI or something, not sure. GitHub Bash, I get Git Bash, and using that, you can use these commands to clone. So clone your fork repository, the repository which you have forked, not the main repository. You really need to be careful at this step. Usually people do the mistake to clone the main repository. You don't really need to do clone of main repository. Just clone it your fork repository, like your name / Joomla CMS, or your project repository name. So in this command, git is a clone. Clone is the main command, and then the repository URL. See, that's my name, because I have forked to my account, and this is your project URL. Usually you can find it on a Github. This is the SSH URL. You can use a HTTP URL as well. So you need to clone that that using the SSH is just the easy way, because it doesn't ask you every time for passwords, and it's good. Now that I said to configure remote to connect your local repository with the remote repository, it means you need to add remote and need to call it upstream. Upstream is just a typical word. I can use Joomla when I work with Joomla. I can say anything. So it's just for your information. But typically it's called upstream because we are sending code to the upstream. So remote is a command. Add something to remote, and upstream is the name of the remote, and the URL. URL is for the remote URL. So for me, remote is Joomla, because I have forked for that. I have forked the Joomla repository in my account. So for me, remote is Joomla, and this is the same as it's a project name. Okay, fetch changes from the upstream. So you need to write the git fetch upstream. Create and configure branch. Just write the git branch, your new local branch name. Usually I use issues number to identify it easily, and then upstream. Upstream is the remote repository, and /master. Master is the name of branch. For Joomla, it's a staging. There is a master as well, but it is not recommended to push it to send a pull request to the master, because we are using to fix it as a to use it as a for when we need it for hotfixes. And yeah, you need to check it out as well. Okay. Yeah, or you have a existing branch in your local, then you can merge the remote branch in your local to get the updated copy from remote. If you want to get updated, there is a pool as well. You can pull your changes. The pool is nothing; it's just a combination of merge and fetch. Before the when you are doing pull when you are using a git pull something, then it will fetch the repository and fetch the branch and merge it into your local branch. So it's just a combination. Pull is just a combination of that. Commit. You need to commit the changes. -a, it means all. You can use a specific file name there as well, and -m is to set the message. In SVN, the worst thing was there that was the message was not compulsory. You can ignore this message. Not sure about now, but before when I was using. So with the git, it is compulsory to give some message with your commit. So in a history you can identify and find easily. Okay, so git push the changes to the origin, specifically origin, and write the name of the branch, which branch you want to push. Otherwise, what happens? It will push all the local branches on your origin. And this is just if by mistake, if you give the different name in a local machine and you want to push to the specific branch of the origin, then you can just to the colon and change the name and put the name of the remote branch. Okay, so now the last thing is that you need to get back to your account on a GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab, and Git. I noticed that GitHub is so smart. It will offer you a pull request button. Then okay, you have a new branch in your repository. Pull it, send a pull request. So you will find the green button there, and when you will click it, it will easily it will do the most of the things for you. Just give a minute. If you have a time, I have a video, a quick video to share it. It's not. How you can fork and all that. So this is how you are forking a repository. I use my account to fork it. Then it will redirect you to the repository, so it will give the practical idea what I have explained. That now you need to copy that SSH URL and you need to paste it in a terminal. Just notice that I have cloned that my own repository, not the Joomla repository here. It will clone here, change the directory, get into your project directory, and now I'm going to configure remote. We're using the git remote add upstream. So copy the URL and pasting it into the terminal. I'm adding upstream. The upstream is added there. I'm going to fetch upstream just to fetch the latest history of the repository. Okay, so it says there is a two branch in a remote. One is a develop and one is a master. I'm checking out the new branch here, which I have says learn has one. So it will create and create a new branch, and checked it out. So it will say switch to a new branch. It is called a learn one, and I am asking for the status to Git. What is the status of what is the current status of my repository? And it says okay, everything is up to date, nothing to commit and all that. When you got stuck in between, just ask Git status. It will suggest you that, well, where are you up to? I'm doing some changes and trying to upload it. See, now it says there is a one file is modified, and you need to push it. You need to commit it. So I'm writing the commit command to push. To commit the changes. I say adding a name for that I have learned. Now pushing changes to the origin and using the branch name, same branch name, to make sure that I don't push all the branches, which is not necessary. Okay, so now it says origin has a new branch which is called a learn one, and see when you say git remote -v, it will show you that which is your origin and which is your upstream clearly. So as I said, the GitHub is so smart and is actually offering you to pull request, and now you can write anything here, title, write anything here as well, and sending a pull request. Now it will show your commits here. Now I'm going to create a new branch. Sorry, yeah, I'm going to push another commit in the same pull request. So you don't need to actually create a new pull request, but you can see that I'm pushing to the same learn one branch, and yet your commits it's add up here. I'm now going to create a new branch which is called learn2, but I didn't merge the previous one. Just want to show you the conflicts, how conflicts raise, and how you can fix it. Just push the new command, so new, and create the new branch, skipping it forward so we can able to get it fixed. Cover quickly. Okay, now I have merged the first branch, first pull request with the learn one branch, and now you see in the other pull request it shows the conflicts. Now I'm going to fix the conflicts there. To raise a conflict in your local machine, you actually need to pull changes from the remote. So I am pull changes from the upstream develop branch to my local, and now it says there's a conflict in some file which I will need to resolve it locally, and to do that I'm going to use a merge tool. I use meld. Meld is a popular merge tool for Linux, so I'm just going to merge it here and final copy. So this will be the final copy, and now it will show me the two changes there, and need to commit again as a result conflict and push it, Yeah. Now it just shows that your repository doesn't have conflicts. Okay. Thank you, guys. Questions? Okay. Sorry.